So far, we've seen and worked with SQL commands that falls under data definition language and data query language. What about data manipulation language? Data manipulation language are SQL commands that are used to manipulate data within our database or data that are present in our database. There are three main SQL commands that falls under this group. We have the insert command, the update command, as well as the delete command. We've already worked with the insert command all through this course when we insert data or records into our table. We recently inserted records into Penguin. When we did insert into Penguin, the name, the period, the columns in which, we choose to insert data into. And also when we created our cats and dogs table, by inserting record into those table, we were performing a data manipulation language. The next one that we'll then look into now is the update command. And I'm just going to switch over to SQL Server to further illustrate how the update command works. So let's print out our current Penguin table. So right now we have our Penguin table and the records we've inserted into it. Let's say there was an error in inserting certain records into our table, or maybe not an error. We need to simply make an update to our table. We have Penguin ID1, which belongs to Mel, and let's say we decide to change Mel's name to Melanie. We want to, instead of having a nickname in our in our columns, in our name columns, we actually want to have the pet's full name or the pet's real name. In this case, we're going to change Mel to Melanie. And there could be many reasons why we need to make updates to our database. Like I said, it could be missing information, it could be wrong information, it could be updates to the information that we do have. Think about another scenario. Sometimes you try to log into your email and maybe you enter the wrong password into your email. And after a certain number of attempts, you get locked out and you're sometimes forced to change your password. When you on the back end, what's actually happening is when you enter your new password, there is an update command that then changes your previous password to the new password that you've entered. So the database, let's say the Gmail database already has your login details, your user ID, your first name, your last name, your password. All of this information is already within the database. But now, for one reason or the other, either by choice or being compelled to, you need to change your password. How do we ensure that that's done? So on the back end, like I said, what's being used is an update command that then update a certain record with another record. So in our case, let's say we want to change Mel's name to Melanie. And looking at the syntax, so we have the keyword update. And what's the table we want to make the update on? That's the Penguin table, so update Penguin. And then we have the next keyword, which is set. And what's the column which we want to make the change on? It's the name column, so we write set name. And what's the value that we want to make change, that we want to change to? So we have update Penguin set name equals Melanie. Let's just use Melanie. And then we'd have the other condition where name equals Mel. So let's go through this query. So we're saying we want to update the Penguin table. We want to set the column name equals to Melanie. So where we have this column, we want to set this name. We want to send we want to send name into Melanie where name equals Mel. So where the name is Mel, we want to change that to Melanie. So now we run this and we have one row affected, and when we select table again. Now we see that Melanie's name has been changed to Mel. Now, before we go further, it's very important to note that when you make an update or a delete or a change to your database, that change becomes permanent and you can't reverse that change. So you want to make sure the rule of thumb is that before you update any record in your table, you first want to ensure that you're updating the right record. And the best way to do that is to first print out that record. So instead of us going straight to make this update, so let's say we want to change, now we have Melanie as Mel's name. Let's say we want to switch it back to Mel. So the first thing you want to do is to actually select that record. So we select all from Penguin where name equals Melanie. So when we do this, this prints out that record, and we can verify now based on certain information. We know Melanie's ID is 1, Melanie's breed, a breed is little penguin, she's female, age 5, and the color is gray. So now that we know we have the right record, we can now update that record and update penguin set name equals Mel where name equals Melanie. So this will be the proper way to go about making updates to your table, just to ensure that you're not changing the wrong record, because again, once that change becomes effective, then that's done, except if that data or the database has been backed up prior, and then you can always reinstate to the previous to the previous timeline or the data that you wanted, or the data that it was before the change was made. So let's make another change to our table. Let's say we want to change all the little penguin in our table to pretty penguin. So let's say change little penguin breed to pretty penguin. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is to select the change we want to make. So we select all from penguin where breed equals little penguin. We run that. So we have 3 penguins, Mel, Phoebe, and Sophia, that are little penguin. And what we want to do now is to change their breed to pretty penguin. So we have update penguin. And we set breed equals pretty penguin. And usually you can now just copy this, and it sort of makes it easy as well, because that's the change we want to make. But I'm just going to type it out, where breed equals little penguin. Okay, so we're updating our penguin table. We're setting the breed to pretty penguin, where the breed is currently little penguin. We make that update. And if we were to now select, print out the select, it's going to be blank because we don't have any little penguin anymore in our database or in our table. So if we select star from penguin and we run that, so now all our little penguin has been changed to pretty penguin. So pretty penguin, and we can just select all from penguin. Let's go where breed equals pretty penguin, just so we isolate the record. So we can see now that all of our little penguins has been changed to pretty penguins. What if we want to make multiple updates at the same time? Let me print out the full table first. Penguin. So let's say we want to change, what do we change here? Let's say we want to change Dexter's breed to macaroni. We got new records that, proves that Dexter is not actually an African penguin, but macaroni. And we need to make that update. And we also found out that Dexter's age is 6. So let's say we want to update, if I can spell, update Dexter's breed to macaroni and age to 6. So how do we do that? So we first print out the record that we want to make a change to. Select all from penguin, where, and we can either use the name because we know Dexter's name already, but let's say we know Dexter's ID, that Dexter's ID is 9, so we can retrieve that record also using Dexter's ID. So select all from penguin, where penguin ID equals 9. Okay, when we print this should give us Dexter's information. And now we want to update the table. We want to set the breed equals to macaroni. And we want to also change the age, so we just need to separate that with a comma. Write age equals 6. Now we have the where clause, where condition. Well, now we can say where name, or we could use the ID as well, but we just say where name equals Dexter. Okay, and we can go ahead and run this. Space there. Execute. And now when we select this to get Dexter's information, now we see that Dexter's breed has been changed from African penguin to macaroni, and Dexter's age is now 6.